Okay, we're back for the last part of Twinsanity. You had some
Yep.
stuff you wanted to say relevant to a thing.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Crystal's Wrath because it's
Oh shit. That guy was hurting me before the fire even came out. That's some fucking bullshit.
yeah, there's a lot of that kind of crap in this, but yeah, there's so this level that you're playing right now, Antagony, is a big inspiration for the I I guess we could call it the final level in Crystal's Wrath. It's it's like we're very much, or well, I designed pretty much that whole level, I think.
I did a lot of the missile stuff
Oh yeah,
section of
because
it.
you did that section, and then I did like all the colored platform stuff that bookended it. Like I added some to the beginning, and then the whole shit after that. But it's straight up steals a lot of the gimmicks from this level.
Yeah, like
The
all of them.
yeah, but
We even had like a ball that you could push around, but it never really worked. It did a very different thing, and we might still end up using it if I figure it out, but the physics on it is weird, because there's more going on with the rolling the ball around than you would think, to keep it kind of clamped in front of Crash and kind of easy to steer it. And our version didn't do that, so it's not in there. I really do want to actually bring that back, if you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I kind of do, yeah.
If we could make that work, it would be pretty sweet.
But regardless, the final level of Crystal's Wrath
How am I supposed to kill you?
I think you can clip him if you jump over the hole and spin. Or maybe if you jump up on the middle thing.
Oh, I can just go already. I don't have to keep hanging out here.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, so Crystal's Wrath, this last level, is very inspired by this one. What I mean by that is not even just, like, stealing the gimmicks from it, but, like, the way this level is laid out, like, as far as length and pacing, and just generally feeling like a good climactic end to the fucking thing. Where, like, when you're playing it, it just gives you that fucking energy that's like, yeah, this is the end of the game. This is the end of the journey. Like, I was trying to evoke that. And it's very difficult to do because you don't want to... You can't just make a very long, very hard level. You have to... It has to be paced, and you have to fucking make sure it doesn't overstay its welcome. But it can't be too short either. Like, it has... Like, it's very hard to pace something out that feels like it earns its place as the end of a thing. I just think like the last chapter or something is usually kind of like some of the hardest stuff to get paced well.
Well, what I was gonna say is that kind of thing is really, really difficult in general to get a level that feels substantial but like not overstaying. Like that's a really, really hard balance. Because I always feel like shit ends up like being too short. Like I don't know exactly what it is because I'm not really like the best designer. Like I'm more of like the systems guy and the animator guy. So like I don't really, I'm not that great at building like great levels. Shit. So to me it always feels like stuff never feels like it's got enough going on, but it also feels like too big, if that makes any sense. Hold on, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. I don't know if you ever have that problem where like just the scale of your level feels weird, like in comparison. Oh fuck, I blew it. I'm fucking sneezing now. But like your level feels big, like too big, and it's like hard to get around because it's like too spacious. But there's like not enough to do in it, and that sort of problem, if you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, yeah, but that's why, like, that level in particular, and we've got some clips of, like, pieces of it up on the YouTube, so it's not even, like, really, like, a spoilery thing. But like that level does a lot of.
Oh wait! Here, call to action. I'll put in a card to that video. We're gonna be like real YouTubers. Click it up there in the corner.
But yeah. So that level does a lot of keeping it tight. So like,
I don't remember that much of it, to be honest. I remember it feeling kind of short, but maybe
it's definitely not short. Like, not now at least. But like, that's the thing, is you want it to like. Is I would say someone doing it their first fucking try, it's probably gonna take them about half an hour, 40 minutes to get through.
That's another thing that probably adds to the pacing that I'm not considering, is the fact, like, in the time that like Twinsanity was made, for instance, you're like this end part, like you're going into all these like different rooms because it's got to load in new chunks and all that kind of bullshit, where that's just all kind of persistently existing. So, oh shit, that was kind of weird. I was crouched. Anyway, go on. I keep interrupting.
But yeah, so like it takes like 30 or 40 minutes to beat. If like it takes me about 20 if I haven't played it in a while. But like if you're good at Crystal's Wrath, it takes like maybe 12. So like it feels substantial, but if you know what you're doing and like you're going through it with some skill, it's not anywhere near what you would say like is outstaying as welcome. And getting it to be that way, and still like, even if you do know what you're doing, getting it to feel like, oh, this still feels like something that you have to overcome, that's like difficult to do. Like getting a level to feel like when you get to the end you feel like you overcame something but don't feel like you were just like grinding it is hard. And I think that level, like if we shit canned Crystal's Wrath and like dumped out like, okay, here's all the shit we did, you just get to it from the menu, like that would be like the thing I would point to as like, this is like the best example of like the fucking high peaks of design in Crystal's Wrath, because that level is like right in the fucking sweet spot of what I want the other shit to be. But just final levels in general, like a lot of a game to me, it can be kind of like not mediocre but middling as you go through it. And if your climax is good, there's just something that inherently the game is improved by that for me. Like, I guess because the end of something is always going to be the most memorable part of it, because it's the last thing you experience. It's like it's always going to be the most fresh no matter what you do. Like in your memory, I mean. But you can't, like, so I put a lot of value in the ending of the game feeling like a big important deal.
Well, yeah, it is.
So like this
level,
kind of got
to sum up everything you've learned in the game, and you know, really test you on it, and it's got to do a lot and wrap up a lot. So,
yeah. And this level here that you're doing now is a good example, because I feel like it feels pretty substantial. Like it's not overly long, it's not short, it's not too hard, it's not easy. Like you want it, like there's a real thin balancing act with last levels, and I think this was a good example, and it's what I set out to do. And like another good example is like the Mario Galaxy games. Like at least the first one has a pretty good last level.
I wouldn't know.
Like,
oh fuck.
To the point that like I listened to that song from Mario Galaxy 1 when I was testing the Crystal's Wrath final level. Like it's got this big fucking orchestral swell at the start, and then from there to the end, it's like the song sounds kind of like you're on a mission. You know what I mean? It like that's a good way to put the feel that I'm talking about in last levels. Is you want it to feel like, okay, here we are. We're on a mission to fucking do the end of the quest. We're fucking gonna do what we set out to do. That kind of feeling. And I want Crystal's Wrath's the last level to evoke that, and I think it does. Especially if it's like at the end of however many hours of like sailing and finding the money and shit, and getting the mojo built up, and like exploring islands and shit. I think it'll like when you get up there and you're trying to stop Cortex in his base cannon, and you're trying to get around to the end of it. It's gonna feel pretty cool.
I almost forgot. The treasure. Treasure.
Yeah. Should be not too bad.
Treasure is stolen.
Look, it's Engine's third out of... It's Engine's third out of 3 lines in the whole game.
But I think he might want his gems.
Well, we should play that game.
What a Hero's Tale.
I remember quitting on that. That was another one I had for Xbox, and for some reason, just was like, yeah, I don't care.
It's got the same problem as Spyro 3 does, kinda, where it's like, when you're playing a Spyro, it's really cool, but you're not playing a Spyro a lot. Like, you gotta go play as fucking Blink, which is, who gives a shit? Then you gotta go fucking be Hunter, which is kinda cool, but like, I don't know.
Was
like,
Traveler's Tales cranking out both of those, or who?
No, that was Eurocom.
Okay.
Whenever I talk about Eurocom, all I can think is, welcome to Zombocom.
Zombocom?
Yeah, you remember Zombocom?
Whatever they say in Crash Bash. Blah blah blah, Eurocom Entertainment Software.
No, that ain't got nothing to do with that.
You really don't know what...
You really don't know what Zombocom is?
What is this?
What? That's the invincibility particles, and they're just there for some reason. Yeah, they're pretty much... Yeah, they're there.
Is that just like where Crash is or something? And they just put invincibility on him so he doesn't die in this fucking part? Look, he's even trying to swipe him. Oh shit. How am I not dead? I'm like not paying attention to what the main fucking boss is doing. Would you move, please? You're in a shit spot, dude. I need to
just
get
go to
over
one of
there.
the other ones.
Oh yeah, there's more. I thought it was just that one. It's been a while.
Okay, this song is really good up until they get to the part where they do the breakdown, and then it's bad. But like they just completely change the mood of the song in the middle of it.
I like how the grapple hook thing for up there is just nothing.
Yeah. Like, this song is
you
a
don't
very...
like the
I don't know, it's just... I think it kind of betrays the fucking atmosphere of the fight a little bit. Whereas this part of the song is very good at not doing that.
Huh. This part you don't like?
It's not that I don't like it musically. I just think that it
fit?
doesn't really fit the fight.
As the music guy, I never really thought about it. Oh yeah, this is the part that blows ass and I need to be able to hear. Okay. Oh shit, okay. You can keep talking.
I like how those fucking bullets don't go anywhere near where it looks like they should be going.
I can't even hear the cock sound. Like, that's when I notified is when you hear like.
This boss I don't like very much.
This part of it at least kind of sucks. Dude, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make a good length episode out of this. Unless I blow it real hard.
Probably not. But
I might blow it a bunch.
just...
What the... What?
If you hit it while it's doing its attack, it waits until it's done to blow up. If you hit it on the last fucking hit point.
Oh god.
Yay!
Yeah, this
You
is
gotta
gonna
do
take
the
a long
whole.
time.
I love how you gotta do the whole thing. I know I was shitting on Crim 4 earlier for checkpointing at the fucking different parts of the bosses too
Yeah,
much, but
this is worse.
this one feels like you should at least get a checkpoint when you change character because you're like emptying a whole health bar out. It's not like you're like getting a checkpoint on every hit. You're getting one every phase. Like I would say this is a three
Oh,
form
that sucks.
boss. You know what I'm getting at? Like this boss has three forms. It's not the same boss the whole time. So like that checkpoint makes sense to me if they had it, which they don't. Whereas Crash 4, every time you fucking hit the boss at all, it's like checkpoint, and I don't like that as much because that feels like you can kind of sometimes you just kind of fucking accidentally fumble your way through a hit and get a hit on the boss, and then you
To
get a
be honest,
checkpoint.
I
And
think
it's like,
that's how I got through a lot of Crash 4, was just brute force everything.
yeah, and I feel like that kind of takes away some of the rewarding feeling of beating the bosses because like a lot of the time you don't really know what you did different. Like it's like the one complaint I've always had about Crash bosses is if they're not long enough and they're not hard enough and they're not cool enough, and then they made them longer and harder, but then took away all of the stakes, and it still ends up feeling shitty. And then a couple of them are just like meh in general. Like Engine and Embryo are kind of like whatever. But everything after that I like. I don't know if I really count Louise.
Yeah, not really.
But yeah, the other bunch of bosses are pretty cool. I think Entropy probably could have used like a whole extra phase, but my understanding is that there was going to be more to that and it got cut for time.
You have to ask Mike. He might know. Alright, I completely forgot how this part of the fight works.
You just walk in a circle and throw rockets in there with circle or square whenever there's an opening. They eat shit. And it's pretty easy. And then and like young me completely overcomplicated it.
Young
with like
me.
the timing of getting the fucking rockets in there.
I mean, it does feel a little weird.
I think you can use the chainsaw on them too, but like it fucking leaves you open, and it's a pain in the ass to do.
Oh, god damn it. Yeah, I'm not trying to be open. Fuck you.
This is just another one of those things where like the concept of this whole boss fight where you're like,
Crash
oh, you
just
use...
in his is Crash just in his crawling like crouched pose in there?
I think, yeah.
Come on, what is with this fucking thing?
I mean, what I was gonna say is this boss,
What
the
the
concept
fuck?
of it's cool.
It's like
the
rotating
arena
at the
is cool.
same fucking speed as me, and it's really fucking making me mad.
It's not that it's rotating at the same speed as you, it's that it rotates back and forth. So like it slows down and then goes back the other way. It's shitty. And now a cutscene we don't see.
And there we go. We did it.
But yeah, like the concept of that boss is pretty cool. Like, oh, you got to use your whole team, and it's this big fucking robot, and it's in this cool ass arena. But it's just that's the big thing with Twinsanity is like there's a lot of cool ideas, but then the execution just is like 70% of the idea.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's maybe because we played it kind of weird, like not that we played it weird, but we beat it in a sitting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like it's supposed to kind of feel maybe more like you have more of a connection to your team as you were putting it, you know?
Yeah. Anyways, looking at Twinsanity,
Follow me, Crash. Stay close.
one thing I really like about it, and I think it probably honestly doesn't get enough credit for it, is feeling like you're going place to place. Like when you like, even though we have clearly demonstrated at least 6 or 7 times that the shit doesn't make sense as far as where stuff is.
Yeah, I don't know if I was trying to get to a point where I could mention it when we at the iceberg lab just a minute ago. I went up. I did that glitch I was talking about, getting up inside there. I wanted to mention that you can see how it completely didn't fit properly, but you kept talking.
Well, you got me started. But
I don't remember how I got you started.
But despite all that, it still fucking feels like it's like, I don't want to say a real place, but you get what I mean? Like, it feels like the shit goes together.
It's all connected. It's
It
kind of
feels
like
like
what was cool about Half-Life is the fact, like, you know, it's just all back-to-back, lines up, kind of. Like
That's
a
like
going thing, going places.
You were talking about us looking at fucking Jack 1. That's why I like Jack 1 so much. Like, that game is truly, honestly, like...
The good version
like,
of this?
Yeah, it's like truly, honestly, seamless, and like the spaces make sense. Everything connects where it should be. Like, I do give a lot of credit to Twinsanity for that, and I don't think it gets enough credit for that. Is that it feels a lot more cohesive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, and it feels like the brisk pacing of it actually, I think, benefits it. Like, if it was like 2 or 3 hours longer, I think it would probably feel a lot shittier. Like, it has like almost a cinematic feel to it in terms of like production value compared to certain other Crash games that are more maybe better made or longer or whatever. But like, and it's something that I was afraid they were going to fucking drop from the later era of the Crash games when they came back for Crash 4, and they didn't, and I'm glad. And Twinsanity started it. Is that they, like, the story isn't like a fucking, like, especially in Twinsanity, the story isn't amazing, the writing isn't like god tier or anything, but like there's just a feel to the whole game when you're going through it. It feels like you're going on a journey with Crash, and he's like, you feel it progress as you go. It doesn't feel like you're going level to level playing a video game. Like, it has,
it feels like you're in a world more.
Yeah.
Shit.
And like, Twinsanity, Titans, Crash 4 are probably the best 3 examples. Mind Over Mutant to an extent, but like they cheat a lot more in that.
I hate Mind Over Mutant so much.
It doesn't land as well in that game, especially with the backtracking, and there's like weird side-scrolling shit where you can tell that the islands don't make sense, and like even Crash 1 to an extent has the thing I'm talking about. But like Twinsanity is like,
Crash 1's probably like one of the real good ones at it, because like the levels, even though you have like a map and you gotta transition in and out and all this crap, but the maps kind of like bookend into each other.
Yeah, but like with the advent of like the warp room and shit, like between Crash 1 and Crash Twinsanity, none of them had that feel. So like one of the things I really credit Twinsanity with is bringing that back and doing it like as seamless as it does do it. Because it like, there's a reason people point back to that, where they're like, oh, it made the Wumpa Islands feel like a real place, even though you only go to one Wumpa Island.
Yeah, I don't know where the iceberg is, or where the school is. Oh, there's a gem there.
See, we'll get into that some other time. I was gonna say, in my opinion, like the iceberg, like it's just in the middle of them, and the school is kind of like on an island nearby, and it's just like, you know, it's all in that area. Like, I feel
like the school is just like kind of somewhere off wherever, like fucking New Jersey or some fucking weird shit. It's just,
well, like even in their map that they drew, it's on a little island. So like I just see the Wumpa Islands as like this nebulous thing. Yeah, there's the 3 main ones, but then it's like there's a bunch of little ones, and like Crystal's Wrath, we obviously play with that. There's like 1,000 of them. Probably not literally, but like there's like at least 30
I say
things
we just
that
make
are supposed
crystals.
to be islands.
I say we just make Crystal's Wrath, just like put it out with like maybe an island, and then just keep pushing DLC that adds more islands.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about doing not long ago, wasn't it?
Maybe.
But
Just so like get the
we'll
framework.
talk about that more. We'll talk about that more on like a Crystal's Wrath channel.
Okay.
But yeah, Twinsanity kind of went a long way to making the islands feel like a place again. But yeah, so like that's a good thing about Twinsanity. Like I also think Twinsanity was very right to fucking kind of lighten the tone up. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Crash in the Naughty Dog games was super cool and was a biker and had a cool bazooka and sunglasses. He was heroic." And I'm like, "You didn't play the game. You looked at the box." like I know that's an opinion, whatever. But like, I just feel like people very, very, very overstate how dark the first couple games are. Like Crash 2 starts with Cortex mugging to the camera and going, "Doe." Like, it's super dark and serious.
Well, I was gonna say like it's kind of like literally dark. Like in the first one, there's a lot of really kind of shade, jungly shit.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Than...
I love that shit. But like, it's just, I think people let themselves conflate the way those games look with them being serious, and they're really not. Like,
it's
but
like the. I mean, I like it. Just same kind of feeling like hanging out at the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah. But I guess the whole point of my Twinsanity shit is like I think Twinsanity was a good turning point probably for what
it tried
Crash
a different thing for Crash.
Yeah, but it didn't stray that far. But like it's just the execution of shit. Like the crate physics are weird and like the momentum is off and like and that's to be a complete aside. That's something I don't think Titans gets enough credit for. Is yeah, it pretty radically changed the way it looked, and it, to some degree, like the way it plays, but it still kept a lot of the fucking familiar beats, like crates and the spin attack. Like people like shit on the fact you gotta unlock the spin attack, but honestly,
the game's
you unlock it because you unlock this. You unlock the spin attack because the spin attack is overpowered from the moment you get it. Like. But even then, you can get it by the end of the first level.
We should do a playthrough of that.
Yeah, if we get that Parsec shit wired up, we should do it co-op. But what I was getting at with that is, like, for as much as they did change, they also had a lot that they kept the same and, like, really paid homage to. It's a hard needle to thread, but Twinsanity was the first game in the series that really fucking, like, dared to do anything outside of, like, here's the warp room, here's 5 levels and a boss, here's 5 levels and a boss. And time travel, and this, and granted, Crash 4 goes back to that fucking well again, and doesn't do anything with it. That's my biggest criticism. But the point, Twinsanity started a lot of the trends that I think serve the games well going forward from Twinsanity. And I think before Twinsanity, there was probably a lot of stagnation. And I think that's why, for as good as some of the GBA games are, and as good as, like, Walk isn't great, but, like, it's a serviceable game, I think a lot of people remember Twinsanity so fondly despite its giant, glaring, objective flaws, because it was the first one that, like, shook things up in a good long bit.
Yeah. Like Engine up there?
Yeah, he's having a good time. He's cool. But yeah, looking back at it, well, I guess I didn't play it, but I watched you play it. But like seeing it all as one piece again, like it revives some of my fondness for it. Like I think there's a lot going for it. There's a lot that is good about it. That is like yeah, it's glitchy, it's buggy, and I hate when people try to say the glitches and the bugs add to it, because I really don't think that they do. Like not in a way that's like intrinsic to the actual game. Like
there is something cool about having this playground to go fuck around in, though.
Yeah, but I like to consider that a separate thing.
It's a very different kind of thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not so much a part of the sum of the game's whole as it is like an extraneous thing. So, like when you're trying to judge the game on what the game is, I don't really feel like it's totally super fair to lean too far into, oh, I like doing glitches and speedrunning, and you can glitch your way through this really quickly, so that makes the game better. Like,
I
it can
think,
subjectively make the game better for you, and like that's valid. But like, I
yeah.
don't like that some people make it the game's personality as a positive, because there is so much more about the game's personality that is positive, especially having watched this back today, that I'm fond of, that I don't think gets enough credit because people are too busy talking about that, either negatively or positively. But just
I
in
mean,
general,
I think we only had like one. How many bugs did we have that I didn't go out of the way to try to fuck with? Like, not
I
really.
less than a handful. Like I think you could count them on one hand.
Like that fucking weird thing with the pig, but that didn't
The
really hurt
pig,
anything.
I'm almost. I'm not gonna say I'm totally right, but that thing that I told you was a kill plane that was supposed to go away and didn't go away because you went too early, that you thought was Cortex dying. I'm even more confident that I may have been right now, because when you died in Antagony and you fell into the kill plane, that's what it did. It just did that fade out and fade back up real quick. It didn't do like a death. So like I think it was just, and it might have even been because Cortex touched that. But point being, that was weird, and I don't think it was like a legit death. There was.
I have to go back and look and see if I lost a life for that, because if it was Cortex that died, I wouldn't have lost a life, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. There was something else weird that happened. I don't remember where it was. I think it's somewhere in the middle, iceberg, or towards the beginning of school, where like something happened and we were like, "What the fuck?" But I don't remember what it was. But like, that's what I'm kind of getting at. Is it's like people make it the game's like entire identity, and it's like really not. Like, and then there's shit like the plot holes and stuff where like the game is like completely bonkers about like this shit coming up here in a minute, where a version of the story that isn't in the game anymore is being touched on by the environmental storytelling, and you have no idea what the fuck is going on because of it. Like the fucking ants stealing the Wumpa. Like there's weird shit like that, and you can. Like the game has almost become like a cult of personality based on the development history and the glitchiness and stuff more than the merits of the game itself. And I think, to an extent, that probably painted our negativity towards the game, because like I just don't like people being like, "Oh, Twinsanity's great. When's the Twinsanity remake?" Oh, yeah, jerking it off all the time, because like I think it's a good game,
That
like a
same
great
thing right
game
there
in
just
a lot of
happened
places.
again.
Yeah, that one too.
It's not really a
Like I think
huge problem, though.
no, but like I think the game is good to great on its own merits. Like but it has like this cult of personality around it based on the development and the glitchiness and the fucking like them restarting it in the middle of development, like the being open, quote unquote, open world more, like where you can go backwards and forwards and explore. He got fucking decked by the boulder. But I think this game gets judged more for its cult of personality, as I've said 3 or 4 times now, than it gets judged for itself. And like, even I think I was guilty of that too. Because whenever I go back to it and I look at it like this, I always come away from it more fond of it than when I'm not
Like
recent with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you were saying. It's kind of hard to fuck it up without going out of your way to fuck it up. I feel like that helps it a little bit. But yeah, that's a wrap on my thoughts on this game. Just, I think that's a bow on what I think of it.
All right, that only took an hour.
Crystal is mine.
Yeah, well.
All right, well, I guess that's it for Twinsanity then.
Hurt your gaze or you'll go.
We'll be back another time, probably, to play another thing. Not sure quite what yet. But yeah. thanks for watching us have a good little romp through Twinsanity.
Hooray!
Bye, everybody. All y'all. Alright. Bleh.
If I were you, I would honestly cut that whole middle part out.